And we know that suspect is, or we believe that suspect is responsible for the assault and battery that ultimately led to the death of a 70-year-old individual. And we're still working to confirm that he was related to an earlier assault and battery.
Well, ladies, I can tell you that the residents in this neighborhood are alarmed. Just take a look behind me. The scene is still active. Anaheim police on scene here. And again, these residents tell us that they are shocked that 2 random attacks took place this afternoon. And now 1 man is dead as a result of that assault. Investigators say the first unprovoked attack happened around 12 o'clock at North Catalpa Avenue and West Falmouth Avenue in Anaheim. No one was seriously hurt. Now, the victim in the second incident, about 20 minutes later, was not so lucky. Officers tell us he was a 70-year-old man who suffered head trauma. He was rushed to the hospital where he underwent surgery but did not survive. Now, police arrested a 30-year-old man identified as David Abbott, and they are trying to determine if Abbott was involved in the first.
David Abbott. Not the usual suspect in a case like this. White people do it too. And I thought I'd give you guys this gift today because I know, man, look, I be searching for incidents like this, man. If y'all knew how much time I spent looking for incidents like this where white people do the things that we see every day, black people do it in New York, San Francisco, and all these cities, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this happens, what, a dozen times a day in New York? But I searched long and hard and I found this guy. And this guy, boy, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. You just see a senior citizen and then you just cold cock him. I don't get it. I'm sorry, man. And I know a lot of y'all don't get it. Like, I don't get any of it. And I don't want to hear about you crazy and mental health. Nah, you put your clothes on. Why you ain't put your pants on backwards like crisscross? Why you ain't walking? Why you ain't wearing your shirt as your pants and your pants as your shirt? I ain't got the belt around your neck. I mean, you got some sense. You got enough sense. Why you ain't got food all over your face? Why your shoes ain't on the wrong feet? I don't want to hear all this crazy stuff, man. You got some sense. You know right from wrong. You know what to do. You know certain things you do, certain things you don't, certain ways you do things. You know consequences. You know cause and effect. I don't want to hear it. Just a terrible person, man, to do some stuff like this, man. A savage.
Joining me now is Sergeant Shane Carringer with Anaheim PD. Thank you, Sergeant. So what can you tell us about this suspect?
The suspect does have a criminal history with Anaheim. He was recently in custody for an assault with a deadly weapon charge. He was arrested on May 15th for that charge. He posted a $100,000 bond. So he was released on the 20th. So he's been out for about 11 days.
That family had to hear that their grandfather was cold-cocked in an unprovoked attack by a criminal who had just been arrested for a violent crime on the 15th and bonded out and got out of jail. That family has to hear that. On the news. They're watching the news. They're like, oh my God. The guy should have been under the prison, but he was on the streets to kill their grandfather, their father, whoever, their uncle. That's the worst part of these cases when this happens, is that usually the person should have been under the, it was totally preventable. But woke people like Kim Kardashian who live in Calabasas and Alyssa Milano and all these LeBron James and all these are fighting to have these type of people roaming the streets of these cities preying on Law-abiding citizens.
The suspect does have a criminal history with Anaheim. He was recently in custody for an assault with a deadly weapon charge. He was arrested on May 15th for that charge. He posted a $100,000 bond, so he was released on the 20th. So he's been out for about 11 days, and we know that suspect is, or we believe that suspect is responsible for the assault and battery that ultimately led to the death of a 70-year-old individual, and we're still working to confirm that he was related to an earlier assault and battery that happened in this nearby area. Both attacks do appear to be random in nature.
Now, it's shocking to know that he was actually arrested and released, and it also was an assault with a deadly weapon. What can you tell us about that incident?
Well, he was offered bail, so he was released per bail. They made a $100,000 bail, so this is not a zero bail case where he was released without posting bail. He did have the constitutional right to bail, as everybody else does. He did make bail, and that's what led to his ultimate release. Re-arrival back here in the general area. The suspect is a resident of Anaheim as well and does live in the same general area.
Look at that oxygen tank. They tried to save that old guy's life. They just weren't able to, man. First responders came on the scene. They did everything they could. Old man walking in clogs. Knocked that old man out of his clogs.
Do we know why he targeted these people?
No, based on his previous behavior in this incident, they appear to be random in nature, that there was no specific motivation that we can identify as to why the victims in these cases were targeted.
You're asking something of the public, and what is that?
Yeah, it's possible that there were people that saw this assault today that have not been contacted by the police. We're asking those people to contact the Anaheim Police Department or Orange County Crime Stoppers. We'd love to hear what they have to say because we need their help in making this case prosecutable.
And one of the things he mentions that you've identified the suspect, David Abbott, 30 years old, but we're not allowed to show his picture. Explain why, please.
Yeah, we're asking that his picture not go out just yet. We still have witnesses that we need to try to see if they can identify the subject that's involved in this case. Since he does have a recent prior booking photo, we don't want to taint those identifications whatsoever. We want to get fresh identification, so we're asking the media not to publish any photos or booking photos just yet until we can get all the witnesses accounted for and have them do clean identifications.
How was he arrested?
Our helicopter heard the call of the assault and battery in progress go out. They were able to arrive on scene very quickly, and they observed a subject that they believed could be the possible suspect based on the description provided, and they directed officers to his location where he was detained without incident.
They don't need helicopters. That money could be used so some black woman can sit in the air-conditioned office with a nameplate on her desk, head of urban crime prevention, head of saving children, head of Fresh Start, Sacramento. And have a bunch of kids come there, sign up for a program, and she get a bunch of money, tax write-off, 50C3, and say she got some foundation, and the crime rate only go up because it ain't doing a goddamn thing to stop the crime rate. Or would you rather have a helicopter flying around so that when criminals do stuff, there's a helicopter there. We got you. No. Ain't no bending no corner and just disappearing. We got you, bro. You right there. These are the things that defund the police wants to take away for programs and social workers.
He just went in. Did he say anything at all?
Yeah, I can't go into any comments he made to our detectives at the time. Again, we do have this case that we need to put together and make it prosecutable and make as strong of a case as possible so we can bring this suspect to justice.
And the victim, what can you tell us about that 70-year-old victim?
Yeah, we haven't been able to do any next of kin notifications just yet, so we can't do any more identification other than saying he's a 70-year-old adult male victim. Once we're successfully able to contact family and break this unbearable news to him, we will be able to identify the victim.
All right. Thank you so much for your help and all of the information. And again, if you are a witness, you live in this area and you saw something, please contact the Anaheim Police Department. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Question, of course, still is motive. Why? All right, Gina, thank you so much.
Police arrest a man after another violent attack on an Asian woman in the city. The attack on a crowded sidewalk, all caught on camera. CBS's John Diaz spoke with one man who watched the scene unfold and helped police catch the suspect.
Witnessing in front of me, I was like shocked.
Jin Zen couldn't believe his eyes.
Wait a second. You couldn't believe your eyes. But y'all running around talking about stop Asian hate, and we got all these hashtags about Asian hate. And you guys know what I think about this whole Asian hate thing. It's screwed up what's happening to these people. But all it is, if you look at the numbers, all it is the increase in crime. Black homicide victims are up 35%. Asian hate crimes, where rarely anybody gets killed, are up about the same amount. Yes, it's up, but all murders, all violent crime is up. Now, who's doing this to the Asian people? It's always the same suspect. So I just don't understand his surprise, his shock. If this is supposed to be like was at one point the biggest crisis in America for a few weeks until they realized who was doing it. Once they found out it wasn't Trump supporters, it was Biden supporters, Kamala Harris supporters. Once they realized that's who was doing it, that story got shuttled away quickly and stuffed in a drawer in the basement.
The attack on a crowded sidewalk, all caught on camera. CBS's John Diaz spoke with one man who watched the scene unfold and helped police catch the suspect.
Witnessing in front of me, I was like shocked.
Jin Zen couldn't believe his eyes. Monday night, he saw the aftermath, the split seconds after an Asian American woman was punched in the face in what police call an unprovoked attack.
So what I really see was a lady, her behind hit the ground, right, and her back roll back into the...
The assault happened outside a restaurant on Bayard Street in Chinatown. While others ran to her side and called 911, restaurant workers held the suspect in place, and Zen ran to a nearby police precinct for assistance.
I know the 5th precinct is down the block, like 300 feet away, so I dashed over. I think the best way to keep everyone safe and myself, I just think calling the police officer.
His fast thinking helped authorities quickly arrest 48-year-old Alexander Wright, who's been charged with a number of things, including assault as a hate crime. He's been in trouble with the law many other times, according to the police commissioner.
Again, these people gotta hear that this 70-something-year-old grandmother got socked in the face by somebody who should be under the jail. Totally avoidable.
Lives in a shelter, arrested 8 times in the last year, randomly assaulting people, setting fires. The guy that was arrested on Friday, setting fires. What are we doing in society when we're releasing these people right back onto the street?
The commissioner says this is when laws intersect with people on the street. He and the mayor agree the city needs to do better.
And we got more work to do in the combination of our criminal justice system and our mental health system. We've got to glue those two together.
I don't want to hear crap about no mental health, man. I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of this mental health thing, man. Naomi Osaka. Blame Naomi Osaka. You can blame anything on mental health. You suck on clay courts and you know you're going to lose in the tournament early, and you know the reporter's going to ask you, man, Naomi, why you suck on clay courts so much? I mean, you're horrible on clay courts, but you're good on hard courts, but why do you suck so bad on clay courts? And you don't want to hear that, so you say mental health. I don't want to talk to reporters. Then you just bow out of the tournament because you need mental health. You have mental health issues. Blame Naomi Osaka for me not buying this whole mental health crap. Now, you know what the hell you did. You punched the old lady in the face. I'm trying to hear that crap.
We got more work to do in the combination of our criminal justice system and our mental health system. We've got to glue those two together.
The latest NYPD numbers show that hate crimes against Asians are up 353% in New York City since last year. 86 incidents this year so far, compared to 19 all of last year. With violence rising, so are worries.
Scared, really scared.
I worry about my parents. They old, you know.
Of course, feel terrible, right? The people hitting Asian.
And police tell us that the 55-year-old victim is okay. She's already been released from the hospital. From Chinatown, John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
A brutal attack nonetheless. Now, according to the NYPD, what appears to be the drug K2 was found on the suspect. Police say he is undergoing a psychiatric evaluation at the hospital.